Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
We take a look at the increase of meth use in youth in the past 3 years.
The worst part, honestly, was going through all of that and trying to keep it from my family.
Edmontonians reach out to help those affected by Typhoon Haiyan.
And they're asking for help, so we have to act fast because time is the essence on this kind of fundraising event.
And new legislation may mean bad business for some local establishments.
Well, I'm sure it's going to affect our business very bad. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this place or we have to close.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. A new study released by Alberta Health Services shows a dramatic increase in the use of a dangerous drug.
Crystal meth is gaining in popularity with people between the ages of 12 and 24. Our Nicole Murphy joins us live from our news center with more on this story.
In the last 3 years, the number of youth treated with a crystal meth addiction has increased by 42%. That's nearly 500 new cases in the last year alone.
It started with being bored.
A former meth addict reveals that he used the drug heavily from age 12 to 14. It started with boredom and curiosity, but turned into something he could not control.
Worst part, honestly, was going through all of that and trying to keep it from my family.
With the drug becoming cheaper and easier to access, workers from the Youth Empowerment and Support Services, better known as YES, have noticed the increased use of meth and want to help.
We're a very positive organization who really cheers on the youth and really helps them develop their skills that they need and improve their lifestyles.
Although the increase in youth using meth is alarming, YES believes the problem is bigger than just this one substance. They believe by helping youth deal with the deeper problems, they can help with all drug abuse.
I would feel very happy if they cut off the source of crystal meth in Edmonton, but that won't solve the social problems that come first.
This former meth addict gives advice on approaching someone who is addicted to the drug.
The best way to do it would just be to tell them that if you are and you think it's not going so well, that we could help.
We can help people find resources if we don't have them ourselves, but it's a matter of being brave enough and having enough trust so somebody can come in and get help from the services that are there, just to start that and have some belief that people are well-meaning and wanting to help people.
The former meth addict we spoke with has been clean for nearly a decade. He's now 22 and enrolled in college, so it's a good ending for him.
Nicole, what are some of the effects of meth on a person?
The short-term effects are similar to other drugs. You have dilated pupils, sometimes nausea and panic, but the long-term effects are quite devastating. There's severe tooth decay, and organ failure, as well as brain damage that's similar to those with Alzheimer's disease.
Is there anything being done to stop the increase of youth using meth?
There's been nothing announced about the increase specifically, but as I said earlier, organizations like YES are doing the best they can to help with all drug abuse problems.
Thank you, Nicole. That was Nicole Murphy, live from our news center.
News, entertainment, sports. You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
Local Edmontonians and people worldwide are coming together to help Filipino survivors from one of the strongest tropical storms in history.
Typhoon Haiyan victims are in desperate need to have basic health essentials. Our Andre DeRoches is reporting from the Edmonton Red Cross with more on that story.
Rescue teams are moving quickly to help meet the needs of the Typhoon Haiyan victims. 12 Canadian Red Cross members were deployed earlier on this week to provide a mobile field hospital where they'll be helping local health authorities.
Typhoon Haiyan hit harder than a tsunami and a hurricane combined, leaving survivors scrambling for clean water and food. Authorities estimate more than 10,000 people dead. Members of the Edmonton Filipino community gathered on Wednesday to show their solidarity and begin fundraising initiatives.
And they're asking for help, so we have to act fast because time is the essence on this kind of fundraising event.
Estrella Mendoza is concerned for her two brothers striving to survive in the city of Tacloban.
I couldn't sleep. My head was aching, my whole body was aching, trying to check how they were.
International Red Cross officials are hard at work trying to meet the needs of the victims.
Here at the Red Cross, we're always ready to respond. We are constantly pre-positioning supplies, making sure that we have volunteers who are trained on the ground.
Edmontonian Cynthia Hicks started raising money for an orphanage and a drug rehab center in the Philippines at the age of 15. This year, she is also collecting Typhoon Haiyan relief funds for her visit in December.
People who already had nothing and were living in tents due to the earthquake were hit again by the typhoon. So it's really important for me to make sure that everybody there, and again, I want to focus on children and orphans, really help them rebuild their lives.
The Red Cross says that financial donations are the most effective. The Canadian government has set up a Typhoon Haiyan crisis fund, where they'll be matching all donations made to registered charities up until December 8th.
Thanks, Andre. That's Andre Desrochers reporting from Edmonton Red Cross. Good news for our budget emerged this week.
This is the future of the country. It's long-term.
Finance Minister Jim Flaherty released the annual update of economic and fiscal projections at the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce. Over lunch and a casual chat with attendees, Flaherty confirms that the government will remain on track to balance the budget in 2015.
A sustainable long-term fiscal plan, and as the Prime Minister committed internationally that we will get our debt to GDP ratio to 25% by 2021.
Flaherty says his preference is to use the surplus to pay down debt.
Flavored tobacco may soon be no longer available. New bills have recently been introduced which will stop businesses from selling flavored tobacco. This is to prevent youth from using or being tempted to use this dangerous substance. Along with this, the public use of any substance in water pipes will also be banned. Coco D, a local popular business, is likely to suffer if the new law is passed.
If you look at our sales, like daily sales, you'll see like 80% of people who come here, they smoke shisha.
The owners of Coco D are worried their business will have to close due to the majority of customers that come there solely to smoke shisha. Establishments will be given 12 to 18 months to comply with the new legislation if it is passed.
Secondhand smoke may be less of an issue for minors in the near future. The Tobacco Reduction Amendment Act, or Bill 33, was introduced on November 7th, which will make it illegal to smoke in a vehicle while a minor is present. Smoking in vehicles is a big cause of secondhand smoke, and secondhand smoke is estimated to be the cause of death of 1,000 Canadians every year.
Kids are exposed to secondhand smoke in vehicles. It's not uncommon. It's a very confined space, and this is another important measure to protect young people and another measure to help keep kids smoke-free.
Research shows that children who are in a smoke-free environment are more likely to remain tobacco-free. Alberta Action on Smoking and Health hopes to prevent children and youth from using tobacco by enacting more laws in the future.
Disney and NASCAR reps were in our city to share tips on how businesses can benefit from a social media strategy.
How much of you guys are having a challenge when it comes to sharing this data, enacting the data, leveraging it, action on top of it?
The social media gurus came to the Shaw Theatre at NAIT this week. Presenting on the explosion of big data and information, topics included utilizing social media in a more widespread way and how to use an interactive approach to get better business results.
Well, I'm an accounting student, but my philosophy is whatever you can learn, there's always going to be some way you can apply it to your personal life and to your career.
Seminars such as this are free for NAIT students to attend. Dates for more upcoming seminars can be found at naitsa.ca.
A local diner's owner is getting rave reviews for his specially made food. Gluten-Free Diner is a place where people can come to enjoy specially made gluten-free dishes and drinks. Every item made at Gluten-Free Diner has no trace of any gluten-related ingredients.
And there are lots of people that are immediately reacting with symptoms, with the minute cross-contamination. Other people, they might not see the symptoms, but the damage is still being done. In order to offer a safe gluten-free environment, you have to have a dedicated gluten-free environment.
Gluten-Free Diner is open on a trial period. The owner hopes to have the grand opening within the next month.
Christmas spirit is being brought to Edmonton in a big way this holiday season. A 70-foot spruce tree arrived in our city early Thursday morning. Located in downtown Edmonton, it is an attraction that many people go to see. EPCOR crews had the task of decorating it before today's Christmas on the Square holiday light up.
We've got a couple crews here that are looking to dress the tree top to bottom in preparation for holiday season.
EPCOR crews decorated the tree with over 8,000 LED lights, as well as other Christmas decorations. Coming up after the break, post-secondary student dropout numbers have increased.
See what are the most common reasons why students feel the need to quit school.
And I just struggled too hard, and it made me unhappy, so I decided I should take a year off.
Coming up next in sports, we'll take a look at the NAIT men's basketball team, an update on the CFL playoffs, and I take a rip at the roller derby.
Cooler temperatures could be headed our way in the coming days. After the break, I'll let you know what to expect this coming week.
More snow is on its way this week.
However, some neighborhoods are still waiting for the removal of icy corners.
The city's first priority during a heavy snowfall are the main roads, but it has left some areas of the community untouched, nearly 2 weeks after the first snowfall.
On one hand, it's not a bad thing. It makes people go a little slower, and it's all right in residential neighborhoods. On the other hand, it'd be nice to have them sanded so that we don't plow into any cars.
The city intends to blade all of the roads, but until then, sand can be found near most of Edmonton's community halls to maintain safe sidewalks and walkways.
We've gotten a lot of rain this past week, which is strange for November, but snow could be on the way.
Our Kayla Ellsworth joins us with weather. Can we expect snow to be headed our way?
Not in Edmonton, but in other parts of Alberta, they can expect snow as early as tomorrow. In Calgary, a low of -17 and a high of -13 and partly cloudy. Jasper will have a low of -21 and a high of -10, mostly cloudy and a 60% chance of flurries. Fort McMurray will have a low of -22 and a high of -15 and partly cloudy. Edmonton will have a low of -17 and partly cloudy with a high of -12. The average high for this time of year is 0 and the average low is -7. The record high was 17 degrees in 2009 and the low was -38 in 1896.
Weather sponsored by NR92, the station for the students.
With the cooler temperatures, it's definitely a weekend to stay inside.
Yeah, I'll say I'm really looking forward to a relaxing weekend at home.
Yeah, same here. Gonna get some sleeping in and, enjoy the warmth, so it's
Awesome.
good.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.
The stresses accumulated over the course of a semester can be a lot to handle for many students.
While for some the stress may be temporary, other students are having trouble deciding whether to remain enrolled in post-secondary. Our Dexter Waddy has more.
Mary Charbonneau is currently a student at NAIT. After spending 4 prior years enrolled at different post-secondary schools, Mary decided to take the radio and television program at NAIT.
I wasn't happy in the music program. It was not really what I wanted to do, and I thought maybe teaching elementary school was the next step, but it wasn't a good fit for me.
The Youth in Transition Survey, or YITS, a longitudinal survey conducted by Stats Canada, has listed many of the major risk factors for dropouts. Among those factors are students who had previously dropped out of high school and students who finished with GPAs below 60%. Although Stats Canada has said that 20% of students drop out of post-secondary, about 6% of those dropouts do eventually return to post-secondary education.
I think it more shows that our generation is willing to try something and then go for what they really want instead of blindly going for that end game.
Happiness was listed as a key reason in Mary's decision to switch programs.
It took a long time to really make me realize that I want to do something with editing and TV and video and doing something that makes me happy.
Thankfully, most post-secondary institutions offer assistance to students in need. Counseling, tutoring, and success seminars are all available free of charge to students on campus. Dexter Waddy, NAIT NewsWatch.
Now Rachel Prasic joins us for sports. So the CFL playoffs are underway?
That's right, we'll take a look at the CFL East and West finals, but first, NAIT men's basketball. With a new coaching staff and a new group of players, the NAIT men's basketball team is starting off the season with a fresh new outlook. This year's team is a very quick group who will be able to use their athleticism to make plays on the court and generate a lot of pressure defensively to hopefully help lead the team to many victories this season.
And we're still learning to play together, and we're still learning to play and what our limitations are. But right now, I like our effort. I like our defensive intensity.
The Ooks entered this season with only one returning player from last year's squad.
Well, we got a completely brand new team considering now I'm the only returner. So it's new coaching staff, new players. So it's been good though. Like we're getting to know each other really well, and we're working really hard.
The Ooks are looking to carry their early season success into Augustana tonight as they take on the Vikings at 8 p.m. The NAIT Ooks men's hockey team took on the Portage Voyageurs at home last weekend. The Ooks started off the first period strong, pelting Voyager goalie Kirby Halcrow with numerous shots. Later in the first period, Ty Carey opened the scoring for the Ooks after receiving a pass from Tyler French in front of the net and banking it off of Halcrow. 1-0 Ooks after one. Early in the second, Ooks forward Tyler French gets shaken up after a battle along the boards for the puck. French would skate to his bench and return to the game a few plays later. After the Ooks and the Voyageurs found themselves in some penalty trouble, NAIT called a timeout to settle things down. Ooks defenseman Jordan Apt feeds a pass up front to forward Tyler French, who would score the second goal of the night to give the Ooks a 2-goal lead heading into the third period. Jordan Apt keeps the puck in at the blue line and passes it to forward Colton Yerimovic, who rifles it to the net with Voyager goalie Halcrow making a big save. The Ooks continue to put the pressure on the Voyageurs, finishing the night with 57 shots. The final score was 2-0 Ooks.
We really wanted to focus on just keeping it simple and getting shots on net and going to the net and driving hard. We've really been talking a lot lately about playing heavy hockey, and so that's what we're focusing on doing, and it worked out.
The Ooks will look to continue their winning streak heading into this weekend's home and away series against the Kayano Huskies. Earlier this week, the Edmonton Oil Kings returned home from a 2.5-week-long road trip. After being away from Rexall Place for 24 days, the Oil Kings started a 3-game homestand on Thursday night with a 6-2 win against the Moose Jaw Warriors. Edmonton takes on the Swift Current Broncos tonight at 7 p.m. and will continue a short homestand on Friday against the Prince George Cougars. The Eastern and Western Finals matchups have been set in the CFL. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will head to Calgary to take on the Stampeders in the Western Final this weekend. The Stampeders defeated the Roughriders in 2 of 3 matchups earlier this season. The Riders have a lot riding on the game as they are host to the 101st Grey Cup. The Western Final kicks off at 2:30 p.m. In the East, the Hamilton Tiger Cats will travel to Toronto to take on the Argonauts in the Eastern Final. The Tiger Cats defeated the Argonauts in 2 of 3 games this season. The Eastern Final kicks off tomorrow at 11 a.m. The winners of the finals will be headed to the Grey Cup in Regina next weekend. Kelsey Lidniak and I will be covering the Grey Cup festivities leading up to the big game. Dexter Waddy will have updates following the Grey Cup. From a young age, I've always been a huge fan of roller skating. So for this week's End Zone Challenge, I decided to take a roll over to the Sports Dome and give roller derby a try.
Yeah. You're even getting that.
Tracy Niven and Cicely Pouquet from the Eville Roller Derby League took me under their wings earlier this week and taught me the basics of roller derby. Stepping into the dome, I started off a little shaky, but after a few skates around the rink, I finally started to feel comfortable with the skates.
And is going to turn in, and you're going to put pressure out on the outside to stop.
Tracy and Cicely started off by teaching me the derby stance and skating crossovers.
Sick.
After I got the hang of crossovers, I was taught to slide.
I'm scared. This time I'll probably hurt myself.
And fall properly without harming myself or other skaters. With roller derby being the fastest growing sport in North America, it's a sport that everyone can enjoy.
So derby is kind of unique in that way that you can come to it fresh, not really have ever been on roller skates before, and start, playing at a decent level or starting at the same level as everybody else.
Do I look beautimous? I'm sure I do.
Tracy and Cicely even gave me my own roller derby name, Pain Gretzky, because I bring the pain. After skating around the rink and practicing my slides and crossovers, I finally started to feel like a real roller derby girl. So maybe one day, if you're lucky, you'll see Payne Gretzky at a roller rink near you.
So Rachel, that looks like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I'd totally do it again. It was awesome.
I'm sort of jealous that Kirsten and I don't have roller derby names.
Well, you know what? I will come up with names for the both of you. Just give me time.
That'd be
They'll
great.
Come to me.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Coming up after the break, we cut, wrap, and tape for a good cause.
We kick off the holiday season with the hope that every child can receive a gift.
The pride that you feel knowing that you've just made somebody's Christmas.
Join me in entertainment as we watch archery in the Hunger Games and feast to a worthy cause.
Haircut and color provided by Ivory Noir, Edmonton's first color correction salon.
Kirsten and I got into the Christmas spirit this week.
We visited Santa's workshop to help give back to the community.
They're cardboard so that they can't rip them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Santa's Anonymous's goal is simple, to see every child receive a new toy for Christmas. Kirsten and I were lucky to join over 3,000 volunteers who make Christmas special for underprivileged kids.
And I get chills when I even talk about it. It's such a beloved organization, and it's just so fantastic to be involved on, like I'm still getting chills, on whatever level it is.
While at the depot, we put together gift packages. But volunteer positions range from gift wrappers to drivers, whose goal is to personally deliver the gifts to each home. And no special skills are needed to make a difference in a child's Christmas morning.
Here is the correct way to sort toys, and here is how Kirsten and I are sorting toys.
By the end of our shift, Kirsten and I had filled up an entire container of presents, ready to be delivered mid-December.
Every piece of art tells a story, and we take a look at the unique story this art has to tell.
And a movie fans have been dying to see gets ready to come out.
This past Saturday, the Catholic Hall opened their doors for a special show for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Hello there. I am Lord Only Knows.
The night consisted of laughter, amazement, and great food all around. All the while, one could learn more about how the Make-A-Wish Foundation operates and how they can be a part of it. The evening was really interactive, with the actors bringing the guests into their own acts. Even the president of Make-A-Wish Canada was there, enjoying in the good times.
Awareness more than anything, and fun. We're trying to generate funds for granting more wishes, and that's what this evening's about, is a fundraiser. But beyond that, it's more brand recognition, people understanding more about Make-A-Wish and what we do, and just to have a good time.
The goal of tonight is to bring help to those less fortunate and to have a jolly old time.
The night was filled with good times as the actors playing the king, the king's daughter, the jester, and the cancelier got into their roles and made the people there laugh and smile with some of the antics they got into, like the king's daughter being in love with the court jester, the cancelier locking people up, and the king knighting people. Even they believe in what the Make-A-Wish Foundation stands for.
Well, I believe the Make-A-Wish Foundation is an excellent thing, and they're doing a wonderful thing to promote and help children in need.
The said call gave this special preview of their act for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Starting November 23rd, anyone can go see their show until a little while after Christmas. This week, a new art exhibit by William G. Pretty was unveiled at King's University. The new Omar Khayri art exhibit deals with the story of Omar Khayri, who was convicted as a child soldier and spent years in prison. The paintings and how they are placed tells the story through the artist's interpretation of Khayri's life.
And this particular case is one example of how our society itself, I think, has been bent.
U.S. Attorney Samuel Morrison also came to Canada to tell people about Omar Khayri's story. The exhibit will stay open until November 19th. After a long wait, the next chapter in the Hunger Games trilogies has begun. Catching Fire takes place shortly after the first movie, where Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, returns home from the Hunger Games and starts to see changes happening because of what she did during the last Hunger Games.
something's different. I can see it.
And she's not the only one who sees the changes. President Corliss Snow sees that things are changing and could change into a rebellion against the government, and he wants to stop it.
She's not who they think she is, and she has to be eliminated. I agree, but in the right way, at the right time.
So they plan for the 75th Hunger Games to be a veterans-only game in hopes of getting rid of her while putting on a good show.
This is the 75th year of the Hunger Games. The tributes are to be reaped from the existing pool of victors.
Katniss soon sees that this year's games will be nothing like she had to face last year, and that she will be pushed to her limits.
There she is, Captain 17, the girl on fire!
You can catch the Hunger Games Catching Fire, November 22nd.
Seeing a baby crawling down a hallway is nothing new, but when two dogs join in it, it shows whose man's best friend is. Seeing these three crawling down the hallway gives me a whole new meaning of the word cute. This past Wednesday, the Robot Combat League held an open demonstration. One of the robot teams was there to tell everyone what the Robot League was about, its different levels, and how hard it is to build a robot.
There's a number of different skill sets that are all involved in robotics. So it's engineering, it's CADing, it's math, it's people that actually build things with their hands. So it's a whole combination that it's almost a village that has to create the robot, not one person that can really do it all themselves.
Unfortunately, the robot they brought got broken on the way and couldn't be used for the demo. Seeing those dogs always brings a smile to my face whenever I see them. Well, that's it for entertainment this week.
So Morgan, I don't know about you, but I really want a husky.
Oh, I know. They are so beautiful. They have the prettiest eyes. And have you read the Hunger Games books?
I have. How about you?
Yes, and I'm so excited for the movie. I really hope it lives up to how good the books were.
Same here.
Awesome. And what are you doing later this weekend?
I'm going to work on Sunday, so nothing too exciting. How about yourself?
I think I'll try and get out to a movie. Maybe before the Hunger Games comes, I'll watch it again.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Looks
exactly.
Good. Right. You can follow us on Twitter at NAIT NewsWatch.
Or catch us online at naitnewswatch.ca. Have a really great evening.